Today, we're taking a deep dive into one of the most, if not the most, famous boulder problems in the world, Off the Wagon. It's a boulder that sort of demands respect, and that every boulderer of the modern era would just dream of climbing. This episode is going to be centered around a replica that I set of this masterpiece and how it kind of compares to the real thing that I recently tried. But it's also an opportunity for me to include a little bit of backstory that I think a lot of people should know, because it's a part of bouldering history and kind of what this boulder means to the committed boulderer. So the story of Off the Wagon dates back to 2005 when Dave Graham discovered it and started trying it. Followed by that were attempts by none other than Chris Sharma, who made it into an almost mythical problem by not succeeding in it, while at the same time being one of the arguably best climbers in the entire world. In 2012, Nalle Hukkataiva broke through the barrier and made the first ascent of the boulder, placing it at 8C/V15. However, shortly after, the German powerhouse Jan Hojer made the second ascent and downgraded it to 8B+, where the consensus has been held for this two-move boulder for the past decade. Now, much has changed in climbing in the recent years, and the top-level strength is just getting outer-worldly high. A good example of this is when Vadim Timonov went to the boulder and almost flashed it, which to me seems actually insane. He hops on it again and does it with ease on the second attempt, shaking his head in disappointment, having missed out on this historical flash go. As far as I know, this is the strongest performance there's ever been of Off the Wagon, but please feel free to correct me in the comments down below if you know of anyone who has flashed the boulder. The boulder also has an obvious start lower down that contains a massive move into a short, slightly delicate sequence before you're into the stand start. This part of the climb remained undone until Shawn Rabatou made the first ascent in 2018, establishing Off the Wagon's Sit, graded 8C+/V16. However, the story is far from over there, because not too long after, Giuliano Cameroni made an ascent where he removed the wagon and did the same start. Basically, the first hold you grab is quite good, so it doesn't seem like it makes much of a difference in terms of difficulty, aside from some minor changes, of course. However, what this ascent did was also open up the potential for an even lower start. Kind of like Off the Wagon sit start. Sergei Topischko started working on this one after having done Off the Wagon Sit and made some incredible progress and proved that it is indeed possible to link everything together for an even third line on the boulder. It should also be mentioned that a small crystal has broken off the boulder, which caused Topischko to downgrade the low start of the boulder to 8C. That's a short summary of the many stories you can find about this beautiful block, and the only thing I can urge you to do is look around the web for yourself and see if you can find some more footage of it. I'll put some links to the videos that I've used in the description down below, so you can check out the full videos for yourself. But I think it's time to start looking at my session on Off the Wagon. This thing is so fucking cool. This is like almost unrealistic. Like seriously, I don't know, didn't expect it to be so freaking, like you just want to go around and fondle the holes. It's so steep, it's like so fucking, it's so far. But at the same time, it's not far. It's like a reasonable distance to the crimp, but at the same time, it feels like that's impossible. Oh, that's so fucking cool. It feels like entering a competition stage almost, like going on this thing. It's really weird. It's like kind of the same feeling as going to the first World Cup boulder, and you go in and you're like, oh shit, I'm here. Okay, dude. Come on, man.
on.
Oh no, that was a bad first attempt. Crap. Okay.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Okay.
That was good height, but I think.
Yeah, that felt good. Yeah, I could definitely have latched the hold, but I got a bit scared from the thing you mentioned earlier about face planning. I'll get a bit acquainted with the hold and start from that one. Okay. You feeling it? Yeah, the second move should go. My fingers are so like nervous and sweaty right now. Okay, I'll try it again.
Come on.
Yes!
That was good.
I have my hand in the jug,
Yeah.
so I think if I pull a little bit more, I should have it. Oh, shit.
Nice.
Yeah.
What happened next in this session is that I kept trying the campus move for a little while, and I basically knew that the boulder wasn't going to go in one session, but I still wanted to see how far I could get on this move. After a while, I could get the jug, I could get several fingers in it, but the thing was the rotation that I had kept spitting me off. I couldn't get any pulling power from my right arm, and so I couldn't really get the jug with the right momentum. I can't really say how close I was also, but it definitely felt very, very close. The hole you go to on this boulder is an actual bucket jug, which I had not expected prior to trying it. But you know what, that's basically the point of this entire video. We're gonna start talking about my expectations on this boulder versus the reality of it. When I set my replica, I said I wanted the campus move to be what defined the boulder, and that it wasn't gonna be a perfect replica. It was just gonna be similar.
Yep. I mean, it's definitely gonna be hard.
The first thing that is fairly obvious is of course the first move, which is much easier on my replica than on the real thing. The big difference is the in-cut level of the starting hold and the foot you use to jump from. In my replica, I can fit almost 2 pads onto the hold, and the thing is the depth of the hold on the real thing is actually relatively, it's kind of the same, but the difference is that it's curved, which means that you can only get about 1 pad, maybe even half a pad of contact against the rock instead of 2. The starting foothold is also massive on my replica and really easy to get tension off of, but as you could see in the video, I mean I couldn't even start in the first attempt. I slipped right off, and that's because it is very small, the left foot you have on the real thing. So what I'll say is it's definitely not ridiculously bad, but it does require you to engage your entire core, your foot, and all of your body tension for you to get any good usage of it. But on my replica, you just kind of had to put your feet on it and you were fine. The jumping distance was about the same, I would say, but the difference was that on my replica, the hold you went to was actually a little bit worse than on the real thing. On Off the Wagon, the hold you jump in campus off of is about the same size as the middle Beastmaker edge and kind of has a similar feeling to it. Of course, it's rock and it has a bunch of different details to it that makes it different, but I guess that should give you a rough idea of how it feels. However, since the left hand is so much better on my replica, it allows you to reduce the amount of force that's going through your right arm tremendously, which also gives you a much better position to campus from. You can kind of control the movement and swing your body much better on my replica than on the real thing. This was necessary for the campus move on my replica to work, as the hold you're going to on the replica is, well, that's actually a lot worse than on the real thing. What I thought initially was that the hold you campus to was kind of a crimp of sorts, or at least like a flat, difficult edge to hold, but well, apparently it is an actual bucket jug. It's probably one of the best holds I've ever seen on an 8B+, which in my book kind of makes this boulder even more impressive. And this is also where the replica failed quite a lot. In the real thing, you can't really control your momentum so much, which means that if you're not strong enough, you won't catch the hold with a bent arm, making it hard to hold even the jug due to the rotation. I think with just 5% more power than I had this day, the second move would just feel easy almost. But because I lacked those last bits of power, the move was just basically undoable. The better you are at doing a big rotation on something like the Businessmaker 20mm crimp, the higher your likelihood of doing this campus move will be. There was very little one-arm pull-up strength involved because of this, since it's mostly just a finger power boulder. Of course, the excess power you will have from being able to do 21 armers might help you a little bit, but as in my case, I can do several one-armers consecutively, but it didn't give me anything on the boulder because I didn't have enough finger strength to pull on the hold that you have your right hand on. Essentially, it's all in the finger tendons, this boulder. Because in reality, if you had enough finger strength to just dangle and hang on the edge, you wouldn't even need to be able to do a single portion of the one-armor, as you'll be able to simply swing into the jug and probably hold it with ease. In my Replica, on the other hand, a one-arm pull-up was much more necessary in order to get to the next hold with an engaged position. However, if you can't control your body enough to get to the crimp solidly after the first move, you're kinda screwed regardless, so of course there's a massive element of power involved in this climb. The thing that was different was that I thought it was more about one-arm pull-up power, but apparently it's much more about your back engagement as well as your finger strength. And also, the boulder is much more situated on the first move than on the second one, as opposed to what I originally thought, having just watched videos of this incredible climb and never really talked to anyone about it. So naturally, my Replica was quite a bit easier than on the real thing. The second move was most likely a little bit harder, but the way the first move reduces the difficulty so immensely makes the boulder quite a bit softer. So, if there's one piece of advice that I'd like to drop to people looking to either train for this boulder or just prepare for it in the best way they can, it would be to try and jump to something that's about 20 to 25 millimeters large, an edge of sorts like the middle Beastmaker crimp, and try and latch it with about as straight of an arm as possible. Basically, if you can catch it with a straight arm and hang there for maybe 10 seconds, 5 seconds, you probably have the finger strength that's necessary for this boulder. And I mean, that's a good start. If you can do that on both arms, then you're ready to start trying Off the Wagon. Yeah, I hope you guys liked this production, this little video. If you did, then the easiest way to support is by subscribing, or if you just want to drop a like and a comment, that's always welcomed as well. And aside from that, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, folks.